Hey everyone, I'm back. I think I might be doing daily or every other readings here, at least for the time being. This Mercury in retrograde is really, for me, showing me where I need to be of service. So I had mentioned, I think in my last reading, that I was told that I have really strong astrological placements in terms of like being an astrologer, which means I can easily tap into astrological events. I don't always understand it in the moment, but the cards and talking it out helps. So it's like basically got the messages like you need to do more of that. So that's what I'm doing. And then also this morning, the Mercury retrograde card fell out of my Black Moon astrology deck. It's called Reinvention, and I was reading it. And it's funny because in it, I think I put the book away. In it, it talks about, I think Hermes? I just want to make sure I'm getting the right information because I don't want to misquote it, but it talks about the trickster energy, and I talked about that in one of my readings, and I picked up on the trickster energy. Well, it came out through that other deck, but let me hold on. Where is it talking about trickster? Mercury is the counterpart of Hermes, the Greek Olympian god, the sly trickster, who is not only big on pranks, but also false moves. He is the god of transitions, roads, and boundaries. The very name Hermes has to do with speech and implies he is a translator. Mercury, as Hermes, conveys information. When the information comes to us wrongly, because of Mercury's unpredictable retrograde motion, nothing seems to go right. It was just funny that trickster energy was coming out and was playing into that Mercury retrograde. So I feel that I'm going to be guiding whoever is watching these videos through Mercury retrograde. I want to do this for some reason. Through this period, so I'll probably doing like daily or every other videos as much as I can. And I'm using my Lenormand deck, which I love, which is like spot on, seriously. I don't know, I haven't used it in a while. I just pulled cards for myself before this and they were like spot on. So I'm gonna see what these say. The first one is the House, a 4. So this would be like the 4 of Wands in the tarot. So it's about stability, home, building a foundation. I like to read some of the meanings to see what sticks out. So home, house, property, real estate, family, inheritance. Inheritance is standing out to me. Also property, home, like the actual physical home. So whether it's like you're moving or something's changing. If it's a person, it can be a mature older man, a married man, family man, a husband, house husband, it says, which I think is funny. House husband. So yeah, okay. So even just reading this, it says, in order to be able to focus on our spiritual life, it can help to first feel secure. After all, if you are scared or just uncomfortable, it is far harder to focus on anything else. So if you don't have a stable living situation, I apologize. I get distracted easily. If you don't have a stable living situation, or you don't like where you live, the energy, whether it's the people that you live with or just the place, or if you don't have a secure home, then it's going to be difficult to focus on anything else, and especially your spirituality, right? Having faith, like you're going to be in that fight or flight mode, because if we're looking at like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the very first one is our physical needs, which is food and shelter, basically, and clothing. Like we need those things before we can move up to the next one, which I believe is then like love and connection and belonging. So first we need to make sure that we have a stable living foundation, a place to live, clothes, food to eat, water to drink, before we can even think about moving to the next level, which would then be like our relationships. And then I can't remember, there's 5, I believe. I can't remember what the next one is after that, but that's a big message that's coming through. And so if there's, say you can't move right away, how can you make your house feel like maybe you need to feng shui it, or, you know, move stuff around. Maybe you need to cleanse things by getting rid of things. Like I know it's because I'm going to start my period, but I've been kind of in spring cleaning mode where I just am like cleaning stuff out, all my drawers and things that haven't been organized, like underneath my bathroom sink and in my bathroom and stuff. So it's a good time to do those things and to make sure your home feels safe and secure. It's like your safe haven. And if it's, you can't move right away, at least what can you do now to create that feeling of safety and security within yourself so that you can continue to reach that, go up the hierarchy of needs, which is then we need focusing on our relationships would be the next one. So that's a big message. Let me see, number 9. I think this is called the garden. I'll show you in a second. Or flowers. I was close. Flowers, garden, same diff. So it's gift, beauty, grace, happiness, pleasure, joy. For a person, it could also be a giving, a gift, or receiving. So giving and receiving gifts. For a person, it could be like a younger sister, female, friend, blonde to light blonde hair. They get really specific with these things in here. So the flowers can indicate an experience of divine grace, being touched by the beauty of the world. It also points towards the kind of artistic creativity in which you channel the divine. So yeah, I feel like this is a clear message of like, make sure that you feel, if you're wanting to develop, wanting to be more giving and you're wanting to receive, you need to make sure that your home life is stable, or you feel secure within where you live and having everything that you need. And maybe you do have all that stuff, but you still find yourself feeling out of sorts. It could just be because Mercury retrograde is kind of messing with our head in terms of like, sometimes we can overthink. And we're in Gemini season still. Yeah, we're in Gemini season. I think we just started it. So I was saying still, I think it ends in the end of June or mid-June. So you want to make sure that your mind isn't ruling here, and that you can look at the things that you have and notice all the gifts that you do have in your life, the pleasure, the joy. Look around you and see like what you do have, and it's expressing gratitude for those things. I appreciate the gifts I have and the gifts life offers me. I am touched by divine grace. So noticing that, sorry, I apologize. Noticing that you do already have everything that you want, and perhaps if you're not feeling that way, it's just a matter of shifting your focus to tap into that energy. And again, but it could also be acknowledging, okay, there may be something off in my home environment that I'm not aware of, and so it's also pointing to that. Let's get the last card, and that's where you want to see like, what changes can I make? So maybe if you do want to move but you can't, right? What can you do to make your home life more stable and secure? So this one is the tree, holly, and it's winter. It obviously represents winter. So it could mean something happening in the winter. Maybe you're planning to move. Maybe that's when like you'll actually be able to move, or something will shift in your home life, the winter time. But it's also about laying down roots, health, roots, body, mind, spirit, feeling grounded. Something that's lasting, right? A tree is like very, also very resilient. Trees are very resilient. You ever see a tree that's broken or like falls over? It like will still grow, but in like a weird ass form. Trees are pretty cool. And it's also about putting down roots. So maybe you have a plan to buy yourself a home. And maybe that's telling you that this could happen for you during winter, and to keep that vision. So maybe you're doubting it or whatever it is, but also in order for you to continue to receive, right, that, or to receive you putting down your own roots, you want to make sure that the flowers is telling us, make sure you're focusing on the gifts and the grace and the beauty, and what you do want, right? It's like focusing on what you do want, being grateful for what you have and what you do want. That is what's going to then bring in the opportunities and the house that is your dream house. But it also says winter is a time for looking inward in a way that helps improve our mind, body, spirit connection. Take the time to cultivate introspection, as this focus will also help your outward health. So I did just say that, like if something is off, like if you feel like something's off, check in with yourself and say, okay, is it something that needs to physically happen outside of me, or is it something that's just inside of me that I'm not recognizing, right? Maybe you do have these things the stable home, the beautiful, all the pleasure and joy around you, but you're having trouble finding it within yourself. And so it's asking you to go inward and find it within yourself. And it's also about rest too. I rest and nurture my health at the level of body, mind, and spirit. Oh gosh, my back hurts. So maybe you need to rest more and stop worrying so much, because sometimes if we've come from, I'm all looking for the book. I literally just put it down. If we come from a childhood or, an upbringing that was chaotic and we didn't have a stable home. Like for me, I moved a lot when I was younger. So the one stable home that I remember I had was only, and it wasn't even mine. It was my aunt and uncle's home that they lived in for like 20 something years. And I lived there at one point, but that was like, we were very close to them. So it was like kind of like a home. Other than that, we didn't have, a stable home for very long, maybe like 5-6 years at a time. And that's not a very long time, honestly, to live in a house. So maybe there is that element of, it's like, okay, I'm happy where I'm at. And I'm totally relating this to me too, because like there's a lot of fears coming up around, like, am I going to have to move? Or is this place because I absolutely love where I live. This place was like my dream house when I was trying to move out of a situation that was not good for me and, be out on my own. And this was presented to me. I'm so grateful for it. I love the area. I love the town that I live in. I absolutely love everything about my house. But there's this element of like, what if it all gets taken away from me? And I know that's coming from childhood and just like something's got to give, right? It's too good. It's been too good for this long. Is it, am I really going to be able to keep everything that I want? And, is it okay for me to put down roots, right? Sometimes we can question, the tree card too, is like, is it okay for me to put down roots here and to trust that I'm going to stay here longer? So that could also be it. So maybe it's just pointing to some healing or just something that you need to address within yourself to remind yourself and soothe your inner child. And again, I really feel it's just healing and progress and acknowledgement of that. Okay. Sorry. Ooh. Okay. This is my Sacred Rebels deck. I haven't used this one in a while either. I'm busting out all of my decks that I haven't used in a bit, guys. I'm stoked about this. I hope you are too. Okay, this one, 35, Conscious Connections. I believe this is about mirroring. And koi fish. I believe koi fish represent wealth, if I'm not mistaken. I might read just a little bit from the messages are kind of long in here, so I'm not going to read all of it, but I want to get one more just to see what energy is playing out with this Conscious Connections card. Okay, possibly 3. Visions of Life Beyond Death. I believe this is the last card, and it's a 44. I apologize for the glare. 44 is about stability. 4, so we have the 4 here with the house. 444. Actually, might want to look up what 444 represents. But again, 4s represent stability. And then we have Trust Yourself. I love this card so much. You see how she's like within all of the animals and nature? Well, it's really just animals, but obviously that's nature, right? To me, I so see this as a reflection, right? We have a lot of nature showing up, a reflection of being grounded. And that's what the tree represented, right? Being grounded within yourself and trusting yourself. Trust that you... So before, like I was giving the example of me and moving a lot, and especially if we're kids, we don't have control over that. We don't have control over where our parents move to. We have to move with them. And so now it's almost like those fears are coming up possibly. I know for me, that's right. That's what's coming up, possibly for you too. Those are the fears that are coming up because of what we've experienced in the past. Doesn't mean that it's true. And so it's just coming up for us to address them, to acknowledge them, and to be like, look, you have the power now, right? You are the adult now. You get to make the decisions, so you can choose whether, like, and you get to discern, and you've also created this, so it doesn't, it just, there's this feeling like it's going to get taken away from you, or you're going to get punished somehow. And maybe that's like some weird story or correlation we took away from childhood, right before our brain was fully developed, or we fully understood what was happening, is like we felt like it was a punishment. We always had to move, and it was a punishment. I don't know why that's coming up, but it feels like, just things also getting taken away from us is generally a punishment, right? Especially as kids, like, that's how our parents dealt with things, right? Like if you, whatever, you get what I'm saying. So we get our privileges taken away, and it's almost like, wow, I'm just having this realization, like it is almost like feeling like having a stable home is a privilege, but it's actually a necessity. And so it's like shifting that mindset and being like, I need a stable home. And if you're happy where you're at and you have it, like, why would the universe take it away from you if you do appreciate it and you are grateful for it? So if you haven't been maybe focusing on how much you appreciate it, like start writing it down, start saying it out loud, start thanking the universe or thanking whoever, thanking yourself out loud, and writing down too. Start a gratitude list every day, and don't try to shift your perspective and see what's actually happening is like it's just some healing. And again, I feel like Mercury retrograde is bringing this up within us to show us where some healing is taking place or what we're letting go of. So I want to read the Conscious Connections card and possibly the visions of life beyond death. I think I get a clear message from that one though, but I want to see how they all play in together. There is a call for more intimacy in your immediate relationships. There is an opening for heart-to-heart communication that can salvage and restore a broken relationship or friendship if you are willing to honor your differences and look to what unites you. Sometimes it is hard to bear the differences between one another. One person may be willing to live life in high definition, whilst another may prefer to live it more vicariously until they have the confidence to step onto the center stage of their own life story. We are not here to judge each other, just to love, to be loved, and to let go of those that cannot accept us as we open up to those who can. This oracle brings guidance for you to trust in the sanctity of the connections in your life. So in my last reading, I did talk about friendships and a possible rift in a friendship or an ending or something happened within a friendship. And it even is pointing to that here. So that could be it, right? It could be a friendship or just a relationship in general, whether that's with yourself or another person. It also says if you've been asking for healing in your current friendships or other immediate relationships, know that this can happen through your willingness to express your true feelings and allow the situation to either fall apart or come together according to the greater workings of life. Sometimes webs that have joined people together are broken, and that is appropriate, as people may outgrow what once held them together. Sometimes the ties that bind us together are so strong that they are able to withstand a great deal of pressure and still remain intact. The webs of connection between us will sever or sustain based on the higher wisdom of life itself. Either way, healing happens in the resolution of our feelings, and we are once again able to feel free, forgive, and be ready to move on to the next stage of relating either with a person who has been in connection with us or a time or with someone new. So again, I feel it's twofold. Like it's definitely like honestly, any relationship outside of ourselves, the ones that trigger us, ones that we're deeply connected to, often reflect something within us and a part of us and how we're relating to that person, that relationship, that situation is how we relate to that aspect within us, that it is a fragment, which means we are split there. So we're not united. It's not a whole. So I feel this is a time for you to do some healing when it comes to a rift in a relationship that represents yourself, but also possibly with another person. And it goes back to childhood. And I'm getting new kind of interpretations from the reading I did last night. I was relating it to love, but it can actually mean like within yourself, and especially because I was picking up childhood stuff. So it could mean that stuff from childhood, and that's what I'm getting at least for today. And so it could represent somebody you haven't had a relationship with since you were a child, or again, it's a child aspect of you, something that happened with, or it's because of some child healing that you had a rift within a relationship with somebody else recently. So the visions of life beyond death. Sacred vision is awakening within you. You are becoming blessed with the ability to truly see what is real rather than what appears to be. This is true insight. I feel like this goes along with what I think the clouds are parting and we're able to see things for what they truly are and how they really happen. So like I've been having insights to things where I was like, I won't say I was blind, but I just had a lot of pride in terms of like, I don't want to admit that like what I did in this argument, or whatever it was, or I maybe overreacted, or I got triggered and I didn't fully own it. And we're kind of seeing things for what they truly are, and owning how we're showing up in our relationships and how that may have caused the energy that's there now, right? So say you think like, oh, I don't think this person likes me, or you got to look back to like, okay, well, what am I doing to make them feel standoffish, right? Am I not being open? Am I not being friendly? And then it's kind of like shifting and trusting yourself that you have the power to also change the relationship. So that's where your power lies, is like in the choices, the changes that we make when it comes to any relationship, whether it's relationship to our home life, ourselves, another person, a friendship, love. Okay, so it says the vision of love, the truth of all that is, can move us more than anything else possibly can. If you have been wondering about your life path, and life's purpose and path and destiny was a part of the last reading too, or whether you should take action on a project, or you need inspiration to really move you out of a slump you have fallen into, then this oracle brings you a message of hope. You will receive your vision. You will be graced with a way out of the stagnancy. You will be able to see things differently and more accurately. Any confusion or uncertainty you have felt is going to pass, and you will be left with clear insight. The stories you have been feeding yourself or telling yourself may end up looking different to how they appear now. That's like literally just what I said. And what else? And so it's just reiterating what I said, but you're going to be you're going to be able to see things for basically what they are, so you don't have to worry. And again, if we're tying back to like home life, whatever it is you need to feel stable, whether it's like you need more money to sustain the home and all of everything you need, you're getting the clear vision of like how to do those things. And to the trust yourself card is really about, don't be looking outside of yourself for the answers. Like, you have what it takes to move it forward and to create what it is you need. So now I'm going to just get, okay, that one. This is my Angels and Ancestors Oracle. Mountains, stand your ground. It's funny that mountains kind of feel similar to the home card, right? And to roots and like the tree, right? Grounding and standing your ground, not giving up, but it also is, this is what I've been contemplating. And I don't know if I'm going to read it. I think I'm just going to read these intuitively. But standing your ground in terms of, say you did have an argument with somebody, that's where I was like, sometimes I have a lot of pride and that's my Taurus, but I don't want to admit like if I'm wrong. But honestly, that's not true. Like, I used to be the person who would take full responsibility for everything, to the point of like being a martyr and being like, oh, I guess that's my fault, right? And I've had to stop that. So it's like I swung the other way, and then it was like I didn't want to take responsibility for anything. So now I'm learning how to balance the two, and I'm really learning how to say, okay, well, my experience is still valid. I can own that I got triggered. I can own my behavior if I was maybe attacking or rude or whatever it was, but I can't own the fact, I can't own their part of it unless they do, right? And so there is this part of me that, and it's not pride, it's really just not being willing to compromise. And I'm standing my ground and saying like, hey, this is the experience I had with this conversation. This is the experience I had, the energy I got back from it. Perhaps it was just me being triggered. However, I feel like it wasn't just me. Like, I'm not crazy. Your energy had to play into it also. So unless that person isn't willing to admit, and take responsibility, you can only do so much. And so I feel like that's a really big message too, when it comes to, if you're wanting to repair relationships, is stand your ground in terms of, you can own how you acted, but your experience is still valid. So you don't want to allow yourself to slip into that either victim or martyr or that codependent pattern. You don't want to be gaslit either and have somebody tell you your experience didn't happen. Like, the way that you experienced it is still how you experienced it, and there's a reason, right? So there was stuff playing into it that they have to take responsibility for also on their part. Warrior, be fearless and stand strong. So there is a lot of stand strong, stand your ground, be fearless, trust yourself. Spirit is really wanting to reiterate to everyone that you can get through any difficulty that you're having right now, whether that's within a relationship or within yourself. I mean, it is all within ourselves usually. Protection guardian, drop your shields. Interesting. So we have, well, he doesn't have a shield though, which is funny. Okay, so I was going to say we have be fearless and stand strong. And then we have drop your shield. But what I'm noticing, I was like, oh, well, a warrior like usually has a shield. He doesn't have a shield here. You know why? Because he knows that he doesn't need it. So that's, I think, a big message is you are protected, and you are being protected, and that perhaps we guard ourselves more so than we need to, just because because for one, we don't want to maybe fully feel what we're guarding ourselves from being hurt by. And again, we have to trust. Like, if you have a lack of trust of other people, that's just a reflection of your lack of trust in yourself, which means you don't trust that you can handle whatever situation comes up. You can't handle a conflict with them. You can't handle a hard conversation or whatever it is. You might fall apart. So how do you balance staying grounded in who you are while also being vulnerable? And that's what I feel like this represents, like dropping your shield. How can you still be soft and vulnerable? I also see it as balancing of your masculine and feminine energies. Like your warrior would be your masculine, and how can you allow your masculine protector to do just that, protect and provide for you, while can you drop your guard when it comes to that in your feminine energy? And especially if you're wanting a relationship, you have to learn how to do that within yourself, or what it feels like to do that within yourself. You know, I'm not saying you have to do this before you can get into a relationship, but if you're watching this and you're single and you're resonating with it, this is a message for you. Like, what you're working on right now is trusting your own masculine energy, and trusting your own feminine energy, but trusting your masculine to protect and provide and keep you safe, and that he knows what he's doing and he's leading with integrity, so that your feminine can open up. And your feminine is the one who receives the visions and is, you know, in her mother nature, open, receptive place. So it's about those two aspects of you working together in order for you to have what you want in your life, which is stability and abundance and wealth and relationships, healthy relationships, balanced relationships, especially if we're talking love. Because any relationship that you have to anyone else is going to point you in the direction of what you need to do in a love relationship as well. So how you do one thing is how you do all things. So if everything in life is relationships, we have relationship to ourselves. I have relationship to my phone. I have relationship to you, YouTube, my clients. I have a relationship to work. I have a relationship to money. I have a relationship to my cat. So I'm just giving you examples of non-common things when we think about relationships. We have a relationship to everything. So how do you deal with conflict in a relationship? It's going to show up in past experiences where, you know, you got triggered, and that's going to show you, like, you're if this situation were to come up in a love relationship, this is most likely how you will act. So you want to get straight here and make sure that you're healing whatever needs to come up, so that you can practice doing that, so that when you do get into a relationship, you already have the mastery, or working towards the mastery of it, and not kind of allowing past unhealed wounds to get in the way of the relationship. So the first card we have is the Three of Cups. Three of Cups is about celebration, coming together, happiness, joy. It's about like reunions. It's generally depicting people coming together and celebrating at a wedding. Then we have the Eight of... I'm so dramatic. The Eight of Coins, which is the Eight of Pentacles, which is working really hard at something, you know, especially in making money or just work in general. Eights are about manifestation. So you're really putting that effort, dedicated effort, into creating what you want monetarily, to create monetary things. Then we have the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands can represent competition, chaos, and conflict. stuff that's happening on the outside though. So it's like kind of like passionately driven conflict, if that makes sense. Like it's not mental, it's because it's wands, which represent fire. So it's like, it has to do with our emotions and what we're getting fired up about. And then the Hanged Man, I don't know why I'm just keeping pulling cards and saying things, but I think I'm unfolding a story here. The Hanged Man is about seeing things from a different perspective. So needing to take a pause and deliberately standing still so that you can see something from a different perspective. The Five of Pentacles is about loss. Could be money loss, or it could just be feeling left out in the cold. Well, what I really get is it's the Hanged Man and the Five of Coins is like the reflecting. You're reflecting on why you feel this way. Because of, and again, it's another 5. So 5s represent change. So it's like you're reflecting. So the story is like, I feel like this coming together, celebration, feeling happy and joyful, working really hard, and then some conflict happens, and it's like then you needing to go inward and figure out, okay, what is this showing me? I need to see a different perspective, and you're kind of reflecting on, okay, why am I feeling this way because of the conflict? I think it's showing you a pattern or a way of being, where a pattern or a way of being where, again, going back to the message from the beginning, is like this fear that when things are good, shit's gonna happen, or people are gonna come in and fuck shit up for you, or take something away from you, or whatever it is. So like if any type of conflict happens, sorry, I just gotta fix my bra. It's itching me. I fucking hate bras. I don't wear bras most of the time, but I have to in this shirt, because it's kind of see-through. Anyways, the feeling that you are afraid that things are going to get taken away from you whenever there's a conflict. And again, this is going back to a childhood pattern, I feel. And so it's showing you, or maybe this is what you're experiencing. If not, then it's asking you to dive in with the Hanged Man and like deliberately sit still, take a look at what it's bringing up for you and why. So we have the Knight of Coins, which is the Knight of Pentacles. I'm going to read this one from the book. But the Knight of Pentacles traditionally is moving very slowly, methodically. Excuse me, it's the slowest moving action card in the deck. He's the slowest knight, but he's the most grounded, and he's the most stable. Trustworthy and brave man, methodical, reliable, responsibility, decency, perseverance, patience, able to finish the task. Again, the trustworthy thing is coming up, and I feel like that's you trusting yourself. I don't feel like this is representing a person. It's like asking you to trust yourself in this situation. Whatever you're reflecting on, whatever is coming up for you, whatever conflict happened, trust the way that you feel, and make sure that you're not, and also give yourself the time and the space and the energy to heal it and move through it. So yeah, the Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is passionate, fiery, magnetic. She's creative. She's very witchy. I'm feeling very witchy vibes here from this card. I don't know why. She looks like she's up to something. Not something that's not good, but just she knows how to channel her energy. Ooh. That's really what it is. She knows how to, because when I think of like witches and what being a witch means to me, it's just about knowing how to tap into certain elements in nature and channel their energy to set intentions and create and to manifest. So that's like through specific crystals, herbs, and creating potions and utilizing the energy of the moon and the earth and the stars and combining all of that, all the 4 elements, earth, water, air, fire, and channeling it to create specific outcomes. So of course that can also be can be used in a darker nature, you know, and that's why witches get a bad rap, but it's not always used for that. And I'd say the majority of the time it's not being used for that. So what I really feel through this whole thing is she's realizing, okay, I am trusting. This is her finding her power, trusting herself, and saying, I do know how to channel this and to heal it and to move through it. And she's allowing the change of the Five of Wands and the Five of Coins, Pentacles that's coming up, right? Because again, fives represent change. She's allowing herself to shift with that change instead of resisting it or fighting it. She's allowing it to, well, she's allowing herself to love herself through it. The Ace of Cups is self-love. It's about filling your own cup. It's about focusing, making sure that she's not like, if you had a fight with somebody, you know, you're not going after them and trying to mend it right away and trying to make sure they're okay. You're like, no, am I okay? Like, I'm going to focus on me and make sure that I'm stable, I'm good, I'm focusing on what I need first, and I'm not just giving from an empty cup. That's what the Ace of Cups is all about. So she's making sure that she's filling up her own cup. And we have the Six of Cups. So this is about nostalgia, things coming back from the past, specifically childhood, but it's about happy memories too. And so she's learning how to also see the positive in what happened. I feel like that's really strong in whatever conflict has happened in the past. She's also tapping into her childlike wonder when it comes to how to heal and the magic and the mystery of life and believing in that kind of stuff in order to get her through difficult times. The Four of Coins, which is the Four of Pentacles, is about feeling guarded or closed off. But it could also be about protection. It could also be like being guarded, but it doesn't have, to me, this card doesn't, everything has a shadow and a light. So it doesn't necessarily mean being guarded in a bad way. It could mean she's just learning how to protect her energy. Or she's also seeing why she developed this guardedness or the shield because of past experiences, and especially coming from childhood, since that seems to be the theme today. The Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is about waiting for your ships to come in. Threes are about creation. So there's something that's on its way in terms of physically being manifested that you're waiting for it to come back and actually be a presence in your life. Which one? I can't tell. That one got confusing. The Devil. The Devil is Capricorn energy, but it is also addictions, vices, things we feel bound to, things that we can't let go of. So it could be codependency on things, substances, food, sex, drugs, or relationships, like codependency in relationships. Could be overthinking. You know, we can have an addiction to overthinking, overspending, gambling, all that kind of stuff. So why is this coming up? Well, let me see. The Seven of Coins. The Seven of Coins is about, I'm going to leave that one there. Seven of Pentacles is about waiting. It's about pausing. Again, more pause. But it can be about things growing too. So it's like you're seeing the growth and the progress. You're just kind of taking a pause to look at it and to tend to it. So I feel that the Devil's showing up to remind us that this is just stuff that you're healing from, stuff that's not good for you. Let's say that one. Because then we have the King of Cups, which is like emotional mastery. It's feeling things very deeply. You know, it could be a water sign, wherever water is in your chart. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, excuse me. I believe today is actually the moon is in Pisces. It could also represent a masculine water sign in your life. Could be a father or just an older man. Or I would say older, but just like mature. Someone who's basically emotionally mature. I'm not saying it has to be father, but it could be. Then we have the Nine of Coins. There's a lot of coins here too. So it has to do with material things, right? I'm feeling very much like in the 3D world, what's showing up, I think, because we started with the home, right, which is a very 3D thing. And so anything that's we can taste, touch, and that makes sense because this morning I pulled the Taurus card, and Taurus is very much about the senses and luxury and feeling, you know, and it's an earth sign, so it's about like what I have. It says I have what I have, like physically, and also I need to see it and feel it in order to believe it, kind of energy. And also it's like very much, like I said, about luxurious things. So it's like, what do I need to feel comfortable? And that's usually stuff around us, like in our home and whatnot. Then we have the Nine of Coins, which is the Nine of Pentacles, and this is I'm just noticing all the images on there, like butterflies and flowers. But it's about creating your own wealth. It's about creating your own wealth, basically. Learning how to become self-sufficient and continue to build, right? Because we've had the Seven of Pentacles, we had the Eight of Pentacles, now the Nine of Pentacles. So it's like learning how to continue to build and build your own stability and wealth and abundance. And we have the High Priestess, which is about intuition. And the moon, I noticed the moon. So really listening to your own inner guidance and your knowledge here, and the experiences that you've been through is what is to guide you through your manifestations, or whatever it is you need, or whatever is coming up within your life. The Knight of Wands is like quick movement, something coming through quickly and leaving quickly. That, I feel, is you learning how to get to like be a quick problem solver, get to the answers very quickly, or, you know, allowing emotions to move through you quickly, whether that's, you know, when it comes to healing, you are learning and mastering that in order to manifest more quickly and not get stuck. Whereas maybe in the past you would have gotten stuck in certain things, that devil energy, right? Like getting stuck in feeling depressed or sad or lonely or feeling like the victim. And you're not doing that stuff anymore because you're seeing the emotions and whatever it is coming up for you for what it is. And you're able to shift it and move through it, right? That's your witch energy, your High Priestess energy is able to give you the answers and tell you, because you're taking that time for inner reflection, asking like, what is this bringing up for me? What do I need to release? And then we have the Five of Swords, another five. And so the Five of Swords is about mental conflict and chaos. But I feel that it is about you're learning how to not give in to that. Whereas before, you would allow your mind to run away with itself, and you would basically take on whatever stories it would tell you, and you would adopt them as your own or as a part of you or who you are. And I don't see that happening. You're not allowing that to happen anymore. So let's just get a couple more, because this is a long reading already. The Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is about the wheel turning, good luck and good fortune. Karmic cycles ending and new ones beginning. So 10s are about completion. So that's the ending of something and the beginning of something. Oh yeah, I said I was going to look up 444 and what that meant. I have a book here with numerology, but I will do that. Let's get two more and then we will end this reading. I hope this was helpful for everyone. If you would like your own reading one-on-one with me, I can do pre-recorded and also live over Zoom, whatever you prefer. You just email me, empoweringyouраuthenticity@gmail.com, and let me know what you'd like, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, pre-recorded or live, and we'll set that up. The information is below for pricing. Also follow me on Instagram at Empowering Authenticity. Temperance. So this is Sagittarius energy, but it's about balance, patience. It's known as the Angel of Patience. Learning how to transmute and alchemize emotions in order to create balance. We have the Six of Wands and the Magician. So the Magician is, I believe, is the Magician the counterpart? No, that's the Hierophant, I think. Anyway, sorry, I'm thinking out loud. Magician is having all the tools that you need at your disposal. And again, this would be kind of like I was talking about witches. If we had like a witch card, I feel like he would be the counterpart to the witch, right? The magician. And yeah, so he has all the tools that he needs at his disposal to create what he wants. And the Six of Wands represents victory, public recognition, being victorious, an accomplishment, but it's like being recognized for it too. Whether it's you recognizing yourself or other people recognizing it within you. This guy kind of looks like Jesus. It's reminding you of your power. So you have the power to be victorious if you choose to. You have to trust yourself. And the magician, do you think the magician could pull things off if he didn't trust himself? Probably not. I would almost assume not. So, you know, that whole element of trust and trusting that you can create the shifts and create the abundance and all the things you want in your life is so possible. You just have to believe it. So if you don't believe it, it's looking at, where's that book? It's looking at, what did I do with it? It's weird. The beliefs that are in place that are possibly keeping you from believing it. I don't know what I did with my angel numbers book. Let me just look around for a sec. Is it here? Oh, here it is. Also, I'm going to look up 444 and 555 because those came out. So yeah, so if you don't believe it, it's looking at, okay, what beliefs or what stories am I believing that are keeping me from believing in my own power? Like, where am I giving my power away? You are surrounded by 1,000 angels, 100,000 angels, excuse me. Miracles are happening before your eyes. So it is believing in miracles too. If like you're having trouble, you know, having faith and believing, like I said, believing that things will shift for you, it's asking you to tap into basically the energy of miracles and believing from a childlike wonder place, right, that miracles do still exist and can happen. So go back to a time when you were a child, when you used to imagine and think about all the things you wanted in your life, and like, are any of them happening for you now? Have any of those happened for you? Even if it's not when you were a child, like maybe a teenager or a young adult, did you have dreams about stuff and you didn't know how it was going to work out and it ended up working out, right? So remind yourself of past things and how they worked out for you, because that's what's going to get you through this element of uncertainty or not believing, lack of trust. So 555, all your efforts are paying off. Abundance is yours to have, live, and experience. Open up your heart, arms, and mind to receive the blessings that are being offered to you now. Well, I'm just going to leave it at that. This is my angel numbers book. I hope this was helpful, and let me know, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and share, subscribe to my channel, all of that good stuff. And yeah, contact me if you'd like a reading. All right, talk to you later.